Welcome back to the Mr. Idioms channel. Today, we're starting a new episode focused on idioms people use to describe everyday life, the kind of language you hear when people talk about their mornings, their routines, their stress, and those ordinary moments that quietly shape the day.
Exactly. And what makes these idioms interesting is that people don't usually say them in short, perfect sentences. They show up in long, flowing conversations, often mixed with feelings, complaints, or casual storytelling.
So in this episode, we won't rush. We'll let the sentences breathe the way real conversations do. Idiom 1. Run around like a chicken with its head cut off. This idiom describes being extremely busy, stressed, and unorganized.
For example, someone might say, "Every morning before work, I'm running around like a chicken with its head cut off, trying to find my keys, finish my coffee, reply to messages, and somehow leave the house on time."
Notice how the idiom fits naturally into a longer description of daily chaos. Idiom 2. On autopilot. This idiom means doing something without consciously thinking about it because it's routine.
A natural sentence would be, "Most weekdays I wake up, get dressed, and head out the door completely on autopilot, barely aware of how I even got through the morning."
Very common when people talk about repetitive schedules. Idiom 3. Part of the daily grind. This idiom refers to repetitive tasks that feel tiring over time.
You might hear someone say, "Dealing with traffic, answering emails, and sitting in meetings all day has just become part of the daily grind."
There's often a quiet frustration behind it. Idiom 4. Get through the day. This idiom means surviving the day, especially when energy or motivation is low.
For example, some days I'm not trying to be productive or ambitious. I'm honestly just trying to get through the day without losing my patience.
That's real-life English. Idiom 5. Fall into a routine. This idiom means slowly developing a regular pattern.
A longer, natural use would be, "After a few weeks at the new job, I fell into a routine where every day started to feel familiar, predictable, and slightly repetitive."
Neutral, descriptive, and very common. Idiom 6. Pressed for time. This idiom means not having enough time.
You might hear, "I'd love to sit down and relax in the morning, but I'm always pressed for time, so everything feels rushed and slightly stressful."
Used constantly in daily conversations. Idiom 7. Juggle responsibilities. This idiom means handling many duties at once.
For example, between work, family, and personal goals, it sometimes feels like I'm juggling responsibilities and never fully switching off mentally.
Very modern and very relatable. Idiom 8. By the end of the day. This phrase is often used to introduce exhaustion or reflection.
A natural sentence would be, "By the end of the day, I'm usually too tired to think clearly, let alone make plans or decisions."
You'll hear this everywhere. Idiom 9. Call it a day. This idiom means deciding to stop working.
For example, after staring at my screen for hours and getting very little done, I finally decided to call it a day and deal with it tomorrow.
Casual and extremely common. Idiom 10. Crash at home. This idiom means going home and resting because of exhaustion.
You might hear, "Most evenings I don't go out or socialize. I just crash at home and try to recharge for the next day."
That's real spoken English.
These idioms don't sound formal, but they carry a lot of meaning when people describe their daily lives.
Exactly. In Chunk 2, we'll move into daily interactions like conversations about work, plans, small problems, and everyday frustrations, all in a natural back-and-forth style. Welcome back. This is Chunk 2, and now we're moving away from morning routines and into daily interactions, the kind of conversations people have at work, with friends, or even with strangers when life throws small problems at them.
And this is where idioms really come alive, because people use them naturally when they're explaining situations, reacting emotionally, or just trying to make sense of their day.
Idiom 1. Deal with it. Let's start with deal with it. It means accepting a situation even if you don't like it.
For example, someone might say, I wasn't happy about the schedule change, but at some point I realized I just had to deal with it and move on.
Very common in realistic conversations. Idiom 2, one thing after another. This idiom describes a series of problems happening continuously.
A natural use would be, from the moment I woke up, it was one thing after another. Missed calls, delayed meetings, and unexpected issues popping up all day.
It captures frustration perfectly. Idiom 3, at the end of the day. This idiom is used when summarizing what truly matters.
For example, at the end of the day, I just want to feel like my time and effort actually meant something.
You'll hear this constantly in reflective conversations. Idiom 4, make it work. This idiom means finding a solution despite difficulties.
A longer sentence might sound like, we don't have perfect conditions or unlimited resources, but somehow we always find a way to make it work.
Very practical, very daily life. Idiom 5, under pressure. This idiom means feeling stressed due to responsibility or deadlines.
For example, when deadlines start to pile up and expectations rise, I really feel under pressure, even if I don't say it out loud.
That's a common emotional experience. Idiom 6, fall behind. This idiom means failing to stay up to date.
You might hear someone say, if I take even one day off, I immediately feel like I'm falling behind on everything.
Very relatable for modern life. Idiom 7, keep up with. This idiom means staying at the same pace as others or events.
For example, it's hard to keep up with messages, emails, and responsibilities when everything moves so fast.
Often paired with stress. Idiom 8, take it one step at a time. This idiom means dealing with problems slowly and calmly.
A natural sentence would be, when things start to feel overwhelming, I remind myself to take it one step at a time instead of panicking.
Very common advice. Idiom 9, cut corners. This idiom means doing something quickly or cheaply by skipping steps.
For example, when you're tired and busy, it's tempting to cut corners, but it usually causes more problems later.
Used a lot in work-related conversations. Idiom 10, get back on track. This idiom means returning to normal progress after a disruption.
You might hear, after a rough week and a few mistakes, I just needed some time to get back on track.
Positive and hopeful.
What I like about these idioms is that people use them without realizing how much meaning they carry.
Exactly. They help speakers explain stress, effort, balance, and reflection in a very natural way.
And they sound especially natural when they're part of longer sentences, not isolated examples.
In Chunk 3, the final part, we'll focus on emotions, mindset, balance, and how people talk about coping with everyday life over time. Welcome back. This is Chunk 3, the final part of our episode on daily life idioms. And now we're focusing on emotions, balance, and how people talk about coping with everyday life over time.
These are the idioms people use when they reflect, slow down, or try to stay mentally balanced while dealing with normal responsibilities.
Idiom 1, feel worn out.
This idiom means feeling physically or mentally exhausted.
A natural longer sentence would be, by the time everything finally settles down in the evening, I usually feel worn out, not just physically, but mentally as well.
That kind of sentence sounds very real.
Idiom 2, take a breather.
This idiom means taking a short break to relax.
For example, after hours of non-stop tasks and constant thinking, I finally had to take a breather just to clear my head.
Often used when people realize they've pushed too hard.
Idiom 3, burn out.
This idiom describes long-term exhaustion caused by stress.
A natural sentence might be, if you never slow down or set boundaries, it's easy to burn out without even noticing it happening.
Very common in modern life.
Idiom 4, find a balance.
This idiom means creating a healthy mix between work and personal life.
For example, I'm still trying to find a balance between being responsible and actually enjoying my life.
That's something many people say.
Idiom 5, let things slide.
This idiom means choosing not to worry about small problems.
A longer conversational use would be, some days I just let things slide because I don't have the energy to argue about every small issue.
Very realistic decision-making.
Idiom 6, keep pushing.
This idiom means continuing despite difficulty.
For example, even when motivation drops and progress feels slow, I keep pushing because I know consistency matters.
Motivational, but natural.
Idiom 7, hit a wall.
This idiom means reaching a point where progress stops due to fatigue.
A natural sentence would be, by midweek, I often hit a wall and struggle to stay focused or productive.
Very commonly used.
Idiom 8, give yourself some grace.
This idiom means allowing yourself to make mistakes.
For example, I've learned to give myself some grace on days when things don't go as planned.
More common in reflective speech.
Idiom 9, take things in stride.
This idiom means handling situations calmly.
A longer sentence might be, over time, I've learned to take things in stride instead of reacting emotionally to every challenge.
Shows maturity.
Idiom 10, wrap up the day. Final idiom is wrap up the day. It means finishing daily activities.
For example, when I finally wrap up the day, I like to reflect quietly on what went well and what I can improve tomorrow.
A calm way to close.
These idioms really show how people talk when they slow down and reflect on daily life.
Exactly. When you can use these naturally, your English sounds thoughtful, fluent, and authentic.
Thanks for listening to this episode on the Mr. Idioms channel.
Subscribe, keep practicing, and we'll see you in the next episode.